It's hump day, fellow philosophers. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about work ethic. I know there's all sorts of different types. I've found a few things that help me personally while working is trying to be hot potato with my work. I don't let stuff linger. I find that if I let things linger, then they occupy my mind, and I have almost this sort of sense that it becomes a distraction from the other things that I'm doing, which I don't enjoy at all. And then there's always like the part of you that will forget if you don't, you can try and keep it in your subconscious, make a planner, keep these, things, and if you're busy enough, yes, a planner is definitely something that helps out, but like I said, if you plan too far in advance, there's a good chance you'll forget, or other people will have things that come up and then things fall through. So as far as planning goes, I like to do at least a few days out for work. It's kind of hard to really plan for my job because it's an on-call job and things come up all the time, but I have a general feel of what I'm going to do for the work week. I'm kind of my own boss. I have things that need to be done, contracts that need to be fulfilled, and as long as that happens, the time frames are really up to me. I've also heard of course I can't remember the name, but it's like it starts with a P, I don't know. There's some sort of method with working where you work for a half hour and then take a 5-minute break or something like that, or maybe it's an hour and then a 10-minute break or something, and I guess that helps you be productive. It definitely breaks up the work day. I don't know how much I can do that for my job. It's usually the jobs that I have on a daily basis, if it takes more than an hour, then it requires me to have full focus. I can multitask, and I often do that just to get things done efficiently and quickly. But I feel like there's also planning in itself doesn't really allow you to go with the flow of things. If you plan too much, it also can kind of instill this false sense of accomplishment. Just because you've made strides to plan things doesn't mean that they're getting done. I know a few people that are like that. They're like, yeah, it's in the books, and they just kind of smile at the thought that they took time out of their day to say they're going to do something, but whether that actually happens or not, those are two different things. So, everybody wants to talk about a 5-year plan. That's too much time. It's too, you can have future goals, I guess. If you're in college, that makes sense, because you've got 4 years of school left. You should have an idea of how you're going to apply your degree after you graduate. And, same with high school. You got 4 years of high school, and then once you're out, are you going to go into the workforce, join the military, go for further education. Those scenarios, it makes sense, but everybody talks about a 5-year plan, and like, as an adult, like, that shit don't work. That shit don't fly. That just causes frustration. The only goal that I have at the moment that trumps all other goals is getting a house. We're in a comfortable living space, but I'm just tired of renting. I'm tired of having to deal with middlemen for things to get done. Like, I shouldn't have to call a landlord for something to get replaced. And in my experience, if you do the work yourself, they want receipts, and then they sit there and whether they should take it off rent, and like, then if you do too good of a job fixing things, then you get offers for being the maintenance guy, and it's just, no, don't want to deal with that. I got my own gig, thank you very much. Got my own shit to do. Plus, I would really love to just be able to cruise on a ride-on lawnmower, like do some straight up dad stuff, like mowing on the weekends. Splitting some wood for this time of year. Just being outside but not having to go anywhere to do something would be super cool. We got a little bit of a yard, but there's always that line of, well, what if I do stuff for the yard? Is it, am I overstepping my boundaries as a tenant? What spaces are shared spaces with the other tenants? And it's just the whole thing that I don't really enjoy. But you got to be crazy in this market to purchase. So we're waiting. Stacking cash, seeing what we can afford. If I had the time and the means to build myself, I would. I think I have a pretty good idea of how things should go. I'm no engineer, but I've messed around with electric enough in my job as far as setting up pump panels and things like that. I'm sure I could do all right in a home situation. I do water and wastewater, so I'm very familiar with plumbing. If I could find a place with hookups, then maybe I'd entertain the idea of building. But there's also that weird period of time where you're still renting. You're like, I'm paying on this land, and I'm putting all this initial investment for something that I can't even live in for the next few months. So there's that too. I'm not really sure how much money I would save in my position, not being able to be the sole person working on the house. Subcontracting, bunch of bullshit, cement guy for the foundation, fucking people to double check my work as far as the electric goes. Plumbing, they can fuck right off. I know what I'm doing. I don't need nobody telling me there. I know what to buy. I know how to install it. I know how to make it run. But I digress. I feel like, especially with children too, 2 younger children, ain't nothing getting done. I can barely hold down my on-call job with the children. Be running off to appointments, and somebody got sick at school, you gotta go pick them up, and you got parent-teacher conferences, and therapy appointments, and surgeries, and this, that, and the other thing. Saw a coworker pass by. Well, Anthony, Dylan cruising through at 10:13. Hell's he coming from? I don't know, but here we go. I got my Pokemon Go Plus going off, so that's what that vibrating is, in case you're wondering. Oh, didn't catch it. Well, spun a stop. It's not even catching. Oh, we got one. When it flashes 3 colors followed by a green, that means you got a Pokemon. Look at catching them left and right. Not even playing the game. Had to up my Pokédex game, so this is it. I've already caught like 3 shinies in the past couple days on this bad Larry. Just let it go. It's kind of not so fun having to go back through the Pokédex and finding a shiny, not having that moment where you encounter it on the game, but that's besides the point. We're talking about work ethic here. Yeah. What else have I learned in my career? Being hot potato helps. Get shit off your plate as soon as possible. Not over planning. Just basically trying to be efficient in general. What are you doing? That guy didn't even check to see me coming. Almost hit a guy on a bike. I guess if you're old enough, you just don't have to pay attention. You just rely on everybody else to pay attention for you. Jesus. Oh, the other thing that I didn't talk about is work-life balance. I kind of was just mentioning that, how not having time to build a house, and keeping up with the kids. I had a hard time when I first took on this job, work-life balance. Like, work was life. Can't be married to your job. You gotta take time away and be mindful of the time that you have away. I still struggle with that sometimes. I'll have work emails come through or people text me and call me while I'm away on vacation, and I leave myself too accessible for people for the most part. But get into those emails and put the auto responses on, turn notifications off. Then you're living. Then you're vacationing right. Better yet, go to a place that doesn't have service so you don't even have the option to be tempted. Yeah, I guess most places have Wi-Fi, so it would probably happen anyhow, but take steps. If you are thinking about work while you're on vacation, then it doesn't really feel like vacation. And conversely, if you are at work thinking about vacation, then you're not really being productive at work, and you're probably letting stuff pile up that should be getting taken care of. So, I don't know. Is there anything else? Work-life balance. Hot potato, get shit done. Efficiency and planning. Oh, professionalism too. I feel like there's a line, and there's a balancing act that's in place with professionalism. If you present yourself to be too professional, then you become unapproachable. In some scenarios, I guess, if you're not like a CEO, I guess, once you hit CEO status, you own your own company and you have employees, then I guess you kind of have to put on this air of cold-heartedness. No, not really. It's still important to be human and have good human interactions and be a likable person. Definitely helps your business. depending on how big you are. I'm sure the CEO of Google is kind of a cutthroat person. Maybe he takes care of his employees, but when you have, people trying to get at you with lawsuits and stuff all the time because you're such a big entity and you got your toes in every body of water in the business realm, then yeah, you kind of gotta be heartless then. You don't want people taking advantage of you. You don't want to be so kind that you get walked over, but you also don't want to be so cold-hearted that it affects your everyday life and you have this kind of air of arrogance about you. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. That's a good little tiny segment. Didn't ramble too much. Kind of cohesive. Little few tips to help you manage your life, work life. I don't know. Drop comments. Tell me what I'm missing. Maybe we'll do a follow-up. I want interactions. I know there's not enough people viewing for those interactions to really help, but start viewing, people. I feel like I'm talking to walls here. I don't want to talk to walls. I want interactions. I want to pick people's brains. I want feedback. I want, I want humanity. Let's converse. Let's have these social interactions, even though they're over the interwebs. Webernets? Alright, that's it. I am at my contract. I gotta get going here. Gotta instill that work ethic right now. Philosophy for the modern being. Ow!